Unit 4, Fingerprinting, Section 5, Collecting Prints. Alright, so developing latent prints. Latent prints, as we know, are caused by secretions from the skin that are going to be left behind on contact. When you lift a print, sometimes it's going to be necessary to do possibly multiple types of tests in order to get the most valid print. So because of that, it is specific that you understand that these are to be done in a particular order so that they don't destroy the print, and we'll end with that. Powders. We already talked about powders. They adhere to the water and the fatty deposits, so the lipids secreted by the skin. And then you have a lot of color choices, and you'll get to experiment with that. Iodine reacts with oils and fats to produce a yellow-brown print. Ninhydrin reacts with amino acids and results in a purple color. Silver nitrate reacts with chloride, forming silver chloride, which is a gray color. And then superglue fuming reacts with water, and it forms a hard whitish deposit. Alternatively, we are able to use lasers and basically scanners to view prints as well. We won't be doing that, but that is a possible way to read and lift a print as well. Just as a quick review, we did talk about the different surfaces on non-porous versus porous surfaces. A non-porous surface, the difference here is that the powders, when you use a powder on a non-porous surface, this is ideal. You can lift it really easily. Use a contrasting powder, and then sometimes we have what's called a magnetic powder. When you don't want to damage or totally remove the print, you put a magnetic powder on it and you lift that, and it's a pretty cool trick. I'll talk about that in class. Porous surfaces, though, you're going to definitely want to go ahead and do some chemical printing. So a couple options that we have there: iodine, ninhydrin, and silver nitrate, and I will take a look at those individually. So iodine is the oldest method of printing. It's actually relatively simple to do. You'll have a beaker of some kind. You'll put your sampled print in it, and then at the bottom you will put iodine crystals, and then those are actually going to sublime all on their own. They'll go from the solid to the vapor state. And sometimes you apply a little heat to make that go a little faster, but when they do, it's going to adhere to that print, and it's going to produce that rust color. Biggest benefits here. This is pretty big. It's not permanent, and it doesn't damage that print. It works on all sorts of surfaces. And again, really ideal for this fact that you can do this over and over and over and over again. Once you've done it, it'll actually fade. So you'll do it. You'll want to photograph the print because the iodine will then eventually it's going to fade away, and then you'll have to do the process again. So this is what an iodine print would look like. Again, here's kind of like a temporary setup you can do with the crystal at the bottom. Silver nitrate is next. This results in that grayish deposit. Very reliable. It's possible, this is not always super likely, but it's possible you may not be able to retrieve the print after this test. And it's totally depends. Also, it's pretty toxic, which, the nice thing about the iodine is it's not. As long as you don't, stick your face right in a beaker, it's not going to be toxic. Silver nitrate would be, so there obviously then come limitations. You have to carry much more specific gear with you as opposed to just having iodine crystals and a container. So this is what it's going to look like, and it's going to result, again, in kind of that grayish look. Ninhydrin reacts with amino acids, and this one is pretty cool. Just carrying it with you, you'll spray it, and then the downside is that prints will begin to appear within an hour or two. You can heat it up, but then there's a risk when you hasten it that you'll damage the print as well. So this one has a little more of a delay on that one. So then this is what an anhydrant print is going to look like. And then we have cyanoacrylate, which is superglue fuming. This is highly toxic. Let's just go ahead and jump right to that. This is super, super toxic. It will permanently destroy the print because basically what it's doing, the superglue fumes, and then when it goes from the gas state back to a solid state on the surface of that print, it's going to stick to the water and stuff on that print, and then it's going to harden, and it's going to harden into like a crust. And when you lift that, just like if you were to put glue on something and then peel the glue off, it's going to take that print with it. So this will last forever. This works on a lot of different surfaces. The superglue fuming, they've actually done superglue fuming on entire vehicles to try to get prints off of a vehicle. So they'll actually contain the whole vehicle. They'll fume the entire car, and then you can get prints off all sorts of places. So that's a really interesting way to do it. They had to totally dismantle the car, but pretty cool way to do that. Again, super toxic. We do have a way of doing this one, but we'll see if we end up doing it. Just because of its toxicity, I'm hesitant to actually perform this test here. And this is pretty cool, though. This is what it ends up looking like. As you can see here, I mean, if you really look at this and kind of take a minute, you can kind of tell that this is, I mean, if you felt it, it would feel textural. This is, you know, it's off of the can a little bit. It's not just like a dust, you know. This is actually going to have like the ridges. You'll feel them. So this, of course, you can tell here now, if this will totally destroy a print. You're never going to be able to get that print back once you go to superglue fuming, which is why ... There is a specific order in which you're allowed to use the chemical testing. You're going to use iodine first, followed by anhydrine, then silver nitrate, and finally superglue. This is the last one. If nothing else works, you can go with this one. But this is always a last effort, just because, again, I mean, if iodine works, go with that. It's not going to damage the print. You can do it over and over again. So I do want you to know the sequence of these. Iodine, anhydrine, silver nitrate, and superglue. Silver nitrate, INSNSG. I don't know. Somebody come up with some kind of cool sentence so that we can remember the sequence of these. I don't know, maybe the first letters, or SN, INSS. I don't know. Somebody figure something clever out with that. I need some... No, that's not going to work. I don't know. Somebody figure something out and post it. All right, that's it. I'll check your comments for some kind of fun sentence. And that's it. I will see you guys on Monday.